Finally, we have some epic news in the world of XRP. We got to discuss whether or not now is the time to be going in heavy. Is it time to dollar cost average? Or maybe it's time to sell. So let's discuss all of those things and make sure you are fully up to date in the world of XRP and the overall cryptocurrency market. And guys, if you did want to trade XRP, there is a very limited amount of places that you can actually access XRP to trade with on leverage from anywhere in the world and actually use XRP as the collateral. So over on MARGEX, you can deposit XRP and then trade up to 50x leverage using your XRP as collateral. So if the price goes up or down, depending on your short or long, and you win the trade, you'll actually generate yourself more XRP. So I will leave a link to MARGEX down there in the description. And today we are talking to Crypto Insights UK. So I will leave a link to his videos down there in the description. He makes some really good videos on the cryptocurrency markets and has a very different view on things than I do. So it's great to talk to someone who's looking at things a little bit differently. Will, welcome to the channel. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to get into talking to you on a business level. Obviously, we know each other on a personal level a little bit.
Yeah, no worries, man. Well, you're my resident XRP man, so I thought I'd jump on because, I mean, we had some big news yesterday. For me, I sit kind of on the sidelines, right? We've talked about, I have my portfolio. I'm relatively exposed. It's not a massive percent, but like in dollar value, it's pretty decent. The way I see XRP, it's one of those plays that it either makes it or it doesn't, right? If it makes it, we make a ton of money. Yesterday, we got our news, right? We got the big SEC news. So I would like to hear your insight on that. Is it done? Is it over? Are we like in the clear now? Where are we going next? What's the price?
Well, there's obviously a lot that I can address in that opening statement. First off is like saying about it goes to the moon or it goes to zero. I personally believe that like even with the SEC suit, it's managed to maintain like a top 10 asset. So is it going to go to zero now? I highly doubt it, because if it's managed to stay up in that area whilst having probably the most FUD in the crypto market, or at least like in terms of weighting of FUD, then it's probably not going to go too much lower than in relation to the rest of the market. So that's the first step. So I've always thought that we've had an outweighed upside reward for XRP. So the risk to reward's always been pretty good with XRP, and it's why a substantial amount of my portfolio, I'm actually going to say live on here, like 90-ish% of my portfolio is XRP. So, and for that reason, like I've always thought it's pretty safe in terms of it's not gone anywhere out of the top 10 and the upside reward's big. So moving on to the news that we got yesterday, very exciting if you're an XRP holder. What actually happened was Judge Torres came out and said that Ripple had violated some securities laws and that they had to pay a fine of $125 million. Good and bad things about this are: positive is the SEC were looking for $2 billion. Obviously, this is like, I think it's 96% lower than what they were looking for. Negatives are obviously they had to pay $125 million, and the SEC can still appeal until the 7th of October. But then going on to that, I had a lawyer come onto my spaces yesterday as soon as the decision came out, and he gave it a 60% chance that they won't appeal. And that is leaning a lot on the politics in the USA. So Kamala Harris obviously came out and said she wanted to like reset the relationship with people in crypto. Donald Trump obviously has also made crypto quite like a key component of his electoral campaign. So if, for example, Gary Gensler came out and appealed the decision, they'd first off be risking their 125 million that they've got in the bank right now if they don't appeal, or providing Ripple don't appeal too. But seeing Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO's statement, and Stuart Alderati, head of Ripple's legal counsel, statements yesterday, doesn't seem like they're that interested in appealing, but let's see. But if they do appeal the SEC, they risk losing 125 mil. They also risk putting Kamala Harris in the spotlight for her saying, oh, we want to reset the relationship with crypto. And they also risk giving Donald Trump extra ammunition, saying, look at these horrible people that are doing this to the crypto people, when he came out at the Bitcoin conference and said, let's fire Gary Gensler. And even the Bitcoin crowd were massively in favor of that, when it's mainly the XRP versus SEC show that we've seen so far. So that's what's happened yesterday. And we'll dive into price action in a minute. But yeah, do you have any questions on that specifically? Like, it's very exciting. Like, I'm trying to keep my emotions like down, because obviously when I get caught up in this, like it's just starts to get exciting. But I know that in like a trading environment and an environment, like a financial environment, like keeping a level head is the best thing to do. But having negative price action, negative sentiment for like 4 years, I think the case was issued on the 21st of December 2020. That's like, yeah, literally 3.5 years, 3 years, 8 months. And it's like, wow, finally some reprieval, but it kind of feels a bit surreal right now. And it's not completely over. As I said, there could still be an appeal from either side.
Yeah. So I guess we have still a couple of months where we're kind of sitting on that edge, waiting to see if there's an appeal or not. I guess for me, I'm like, I guess I would have expected more of a price explosion, right, when we got the news. But I guess maybe it's because of the market. What do you reckon? Like, I'll just check the price. So the price now is 61.48. We did move, I think it was about 30%, 25-30% on the news, in like literally like a candle of like like a couple of minutes, really, wasn't it? 27%. I would have thought we would have had more price action. Do you reckon we're going to suppress that price action for another couple of months until we get that sort of news that they're not going to appeal or they are going to appeal? Or do you think slow trickle upwards?
This is where it's like really difficult, because something I've been flagging for like the past 3 weeks really has been XRP's relationship to both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Basically, my argument's been that we've been bottoming because we haven't set any lower lows and we've started to climb up and break key resistance levels against Ethereum and Bitcoin specifically. And then also we saw a bit what could be identified as like an impulsive move for XRP against the dollar, which I flagged. But then I also said after that has finished, we'll come back down to the 48 to 52 cent region. And since the recent crash that we had with the unraveling of the carry trade from the Japanese yen to the US dollar that brought Bitcoin down, we actually went a little bit below that, I think maybe to 46, 44 cent or something around there for XRP. So it's playing out quite like technically well. And then I said that the next move is the start of an impulsive wave 3, which is normally the biggest of a 5-wave move. So I said that this move would take us above $1, and there's 5 waves in this, so we might have seen the first of the 5 of the third wave, which hopefully makes sense.
Do you have your chart up by any chance? Because you can.
I have my chart up, no, but I can actually get this up right now. Give me 1 second. Basically, what I think is structurally it's looking pretty good, but if we look at XRP and how it's moved historically, I'm opening my chart for you now, and let me just get this over there. Let me present to you. I don't know if we can do this.
I should be able to.
Yeah, that done it? Okay, awesome. Yeah. So we're going to just quickly break this down on this is the hourly time frames. This is that impulsive move that I was talking about. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves to the upside there. And then you have what's called an ABC correction, but this was a complex ABC, as the B wave actually just wicked out the heights of the top of wave 1, which it shouldn't really do in Elliott wave theory, and then a 5 wave down for the C leg. And then this is the start of the wave 3. So what you're seeing here, wave 3 is normally 1.66 times wave 1. So if I show you another chart, I can show you that a bit more easily. So look at this in the 4-hour. This is how Elliott wave theory works. You have like 5 legs to the upside inside a larger 5-wave structure. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's inside a larger 5, which is inside a larger 5, which would take us out to our fib extension. And I do think my price targets for this cycle are the double-digit range, $12 to $15 range, which seems ridiculous from where we are right now. I understand that.
Well, we're here, not to derail your thought process, but are you in the camp of I think a $15 price target is relatively fair in comparison to some of the price targets out there? Are you in the $10,000 a coin camp, or
No, I've never been. I'm not even on the $589 coin camp, although it would be exciting if we did see something like that. I just think it's highly improbable, if not almost impossible. But this is based on like this could be argued through market cap. It could be argued through, as I'm showing you now, like Elliott wave theory. But the exciting part is, as I've said, and this is the exciting thing, is that we've seen that impulsive move play out. And I said that I thought we'd accumulate in this gray weave, and we popped out of there pretty quickly. I also did explain that I thought that to get us above this key resistance level, I'll take us on the daily time frame here. We've been in like a range really for XRP. Let's just get rid of that. We've been like a range really for XRP, this is where we saw the judge actually say that XRP was not a security. It was about a year ago now. We didn't manage to get a clear break above this like 91 cent level, but we did break out of the range, and we've chopped inside the range for a while, waiting for some impulsive price action to come, and we might have just seen the start of that. I was flagging that specifically because of what we've seen with XRP against Bitcoin, which, as you can see, this is on the daily time frame again, has the lows were back in early June, and since then we've been gaining ground slowly, and then again consolidating. We had that breakout yesterday, and against Ethereum we've really started to send it again on the daily time frame. These lows put in again 7th of June, and now we're significantly higher than where we were, and there's a lot of upside potential here. Whether we start to see this upside is another question, but what I've basically been flagging to people is that when you see these green candles, they come pretty quickly. It's more common and easier to see here against Bitcoin, but when we start to get these key breaks above resistance levels, you can see that the majority of the price action for XRP, if we have these green candles come, it happens within the space of like 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks for the move. So that's what I've been trying to flag to people. Have we got that break? We are starting to break these resistance levels. Let's just use this time, for example, which is March 21, when we had our push to like $1.90 for XRP. We break the key resistance level, and in the space of like 2 or 3 weeks, the majority of the move is done. It's like what, 300% move over what, six weeks, let's say. And the times before that, when we reached our all-time high in 2017, which is what all the XRP holders really love because it's a huge appreciation in price there for XRP. When we break a key resistance level, we're up like 2,500% in, let's say, 9 weeks. So that's the sort of thing that we could be looking for here, basically.
And we were basically at like close to bear market lows there, just like a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah, like if this is the weekly now. So we are close to lows. This is where XRP has reacted from historically. Obviously, this is 2014, 2017, 2020, 2021, and we've been down in this range. We've bled out. You can see that over long periods of time, XRP bleeds out against Bitcoin, has an impulsive move. All the price action happens in this time. Again, bleeds out against Bitcoin. This happens. But for those of you who don't know, who might be like not massively into XRP as I am, for example, XRP in the 2017 bull run, so that was the one where it wasn't actually under pressure from the SEC, it did actually engulf Ethereum's market cap twice in that bull run. So there is potential. And there actually one last chart I would like to show you is the XRP dominance chart, just to show that XRP has been all the way up to about 20% dominance of the whole crypto space. So that's obviously pretty huge.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that. And especially, I know a lot of my viewers, there are some XRP guys in here, and definitely some holders, because I'm holding. But yeah, it's crazy to think that it's just kind of sat there with like no attention for years, you know, from the outside.
Yeah, definitely. And like, that's why narratives can get away with people and emotions hard, because look at all this price action here. This is from 15th of May 2017. We've essentially just gone slowly down in terms of dominance in the crypto market. And the same when we're in the 2014 cycle, it just went down and down and down slowly, and then literally popped out in the space of a few weeks. And you can see why on an emotional level people get frustrated with it, but also then why that can trigger a fast upside move, because as soon as you start to get these moves, a lot of people who said XRP can never move, it will never do this, never do that, as soon as it starts to break key resistance levels, they're like, oh shit, like look at history, look how fast it's like appreciated or expanded in price. And do we want to miss that for just for our ego or our emotions' sake? No, but then they probably pile in a little bit later. Let's say if we break above $1 or whatever the key price level might be in people's head that they feel like is a key level, then they probably jump into XRP in terms of like, oh, we need some exposure because I don't want to miss the move. But by then they've missed the big percentage gain from like the lows at 30 cents, for example.
Yeah. I always find it funny how people are with their sort of emotion towards certain cryptos, because there's very much, you know, an XRP camp, and it's like it's either you hold XRP or you're against it, right? That's like there's no middle ground. Like I find myself sitting in the middle ground because I'm like, well, why wouldn't I have upside potential, right? I don't really like care what they are. I want the upside. So I guess with that said, while we're on the topic of the price, if you were sitting on the fence right now, I guess two questions. One, would you be starting a spot position at around the 60 cent region? Do you reckon it's a good place to maybe start? Maybe it's a DCA opportunity. And then the second question, if you were a short-term trader and you wanted to catch the upside, are there any key areas you would look to start, maybe a leverage position or something like that?
In terms of both of those questions, they like look a lot towards what Bitcoin's doing. So if we're looking at Bitcoin, these are like, there was one thing I was worried about with Bitcoin specifically, is that often when we get a flush out to the lows, and I'll use the previous low for an example, you start to push out of this zone, you come back down and you either back test as a higher low and hopefully create some sort of bullish divergence. Let's see if it did it there. Let's just, I don't know, for example, don't know if it definitely did, but for example, you create a bullish divergence, which would hopefully be like a lower low, but a higher low in the RSI. But here, for example, it held a higher low and then we pushed out of that zone. So there will be probably, if I'm right, a retest of something like either in this zone or a flush out, maybe slightly lower for Bitcoin, depending on what's happening in the traditional financial land. So I'm moving over to Bitcoin because Bitcoin does dictate what most of crypto does. We've not really ever seen historically XRP or any other crypto asset massively outperform if Bitcoin's red. Bitcoin's got to be green is the first thing I want to say. And when we start to break above all-time highs for Bitcoin, we can start getting to silly land for crypto, specifically when the market cap's expanding. But if we're looking at XRP in terms of accumulating where to buy, I honestly don't think it's an awful position to be dollar cost averaging in now, because if I'm right, and there's obviously a chance if Bitcoin obviously gets that back test, we come back down here for XRP, test this area and then continue. But if I'm right, and on this Elliott wave structure, they do get more aggressive as we go through. So could we expand out of this zone here for our second wave or our third wave? Sorry, this would be our second wave in this wedge pattern. You can get wedges in waves 2 and 4 for Elliott wave theory. So basically my thought process is, you don't want to risk the fact that I could be right with my Elliott wave theory, trying to time a lower price action to get in. So if you're looking to buy spot, I would be DCAing here with the thought process that we could come back down to test this level here at the 50 cent area, depending on what we see from Bitcoin over the coming days. It's now touching resistance, and I've got my eye on Bitcoin, but it's mainly like related to spot market and the traditional financial markets because of what's happened in the wider markets. There's fear of potential war. We've got, if there's any unraveling further from the Japanese yen trade, which has put a lot of pressure on pretty much everything. Is there any traditional financial players that are like underwater still that haven't been exposed yet, that were probably caught offside? We saw the VIX like spike up to this highest level since the C19 crisis, and then before that was 2008, the third highest level ever, and not really too much has happened in terms of like repercussions. So I do think someone out there is probably overexposed, under pressure or something like that. But we've seen quite a big recovery from the financial market. So I've been very cautious this week, saying I do think Bitcoin pulls back because that's what it normally does structurally. But we could also see a V-shaped recovery so long as we dodge anything in the traditional financial world, is basically my thought process. And if we do dodge anything in the traditional financial world, like it's potentially all systems go here for XRP, especially if Bitcoin starts to really surge here, providing it doesn't take too much of the crypto liquidity. Like if we just chop up for Bitcoin slowly like this, it's a pretty good environment for XRP to surge.
Yeah, so I guess we've basically taken off the chains this time round for XRP. And if people are looking for an opportunity, I like the fact that you're looking. I'd never look at the Bitcoin XRP chart. So if you guys are watching, definitely check that out. I think from what I'm understanding, similar to me, DCA is really the king here. Now we have the chains off for XRP. Their upside potential is massive. Don't feel, I would say from what you're saying, and do correct me if I'm wrong, don't feel like you've actually missed the boat, because we are really at the start of a potential big move here. Maybe you did miss out on, the lower 40s or whatever it was, but hey, you might have another opportunity. So therefore, if you start to DCA now, either you get a better price and you can DCA again, or you don't miss out on the opportunity because you're just sitting on the sidelines.
I mean, that's a perfect like summary, really, because if you just think, for example, if you DCA at 60 and it comes down to like, let's just say we sweep the lows here at 48, then you're probably getting in at around 50 cents. So you're guaranteeing yourself a 50 sort of cent buy price as long as you DCA properly. Whereas if you don't DCA and it starts to head higher, then where are you going to get in? You're going to get in at 70. You're going to get in at the back test if we do break out of this range and get in there. So it just depends if you believe in the TA that I've provided, and if you have the same sort of thought processes as we do around potentially us continuing this bull run. I presume, I think that you think that we're going to continue the bull run at some point. So if you think that we're going to continue the bull run and you like XRP as an asset, it's not a bad time to be DCAing, because we haven't seen explosive appreciation. I think because even XRP holders are a bit wary because of when the last ruling came out last year. We had a big surge of like 90% and then bled out for a while. And then obviously there's always the opportunity for the SEC to appeal. But we are, whether people can deal with it mentally or not, because it feels like forever we've been in this case, we are at the end of the case now. Worst case is the SEC appeal. Did they want to risk $120 million on an appeal where they're also going to get themselves in the bad book and Gary Gensler's trying to get himself out of the spotlight? I don't know what the answer to that is. With this SEC, potentially they seem to just be doing whatever they like, but with it being way more political now and crypto being at the forefront, I think it's a risk they probably shouldn't be taking. Maybe that's my bias or not, but what I want to see is Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, come out and make a gloaty video saying, look, we've beat Ripple, we've got 125 million. For me, that's the green light for all systems go, basically, for XRP, because we also don't know, and this is a bit more speculative, but we also don't know any potential partnerships Ripple might have had during this time in the case with the SEC, because they're probably under legal advice to say, don't be announcing anything. I know from being a Twitter sleuth that there are at least a few partnerships that haven't been announced, because I'm keeping a close eye on Ripple staff that have left, and one said, oh, we've been working on, so I don't want to say specifically because I actually know them now personally. I don't want to out them.
Yeah.
You'll see it in a few weeks if they do announce it. But we've been working with this country on their central bank digital currency. They've been working with this potential partner, but it hasn't actually been announced yet. And I wonder how many of those there are with the legal case and probably getting advice, oh, don't be announcing anything that will put a target on your back. So that's more speculative, but I presume would add to the narrative of positivity for XRP, and is why you could see explosive price action, because all of a sudden you're probably going to get back-to-back positive narratives once that ball starts rolling. It seems to happen when price goes up, narrative goes good, and then when narrative goes good, price goes up.
Yeah, exactly, man. Well, guys, you heard it here first. If you need some XRP leaks, then you can go check out Crypto Insight UK. He's on every single platform, as you can see from behind the banner there. So if you do want to check him out, the links will be down there in the description. Will, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the time, Connor, and looking forward to seeing you in sunny Dubai very soon.
Hopefully that chat with Will provided you with some value. If it did, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe, and if you do want to check out Crypto Insights UK, remember the link is down there in the description. On top of that, if you do want to trade yourself some XRP with leverage from anywhere in the world, there's a link to MARGEX down there in the description. And guys, if you follow my link, you can get up to $10,000 worth of a deposit bonus. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.